Welcome back to GUGAFOODS. I want to thank the National Pork Board for sponsoring this video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. You are going to be the judge and letting me know which country makes the best dish. Pork is a staple protein around the world. No matter where you're from, food always unites us. It's an experience that allows us to connect with other people in different cultures. Believe me when I tell you, pork is the most popular protein around the world. From Kansas City ribs to Memphis pulled pork to Mexican carnitas and Cuban sandwiches, pork can introduce us to new regions. If you are looking for authentic world flavors, pork is the best passport. At the time when consumers are sticking close to home, we can still travel in the sense through the food we prepare. So I first wrote down all of the countries I would love to visit to eat their food. By preparing and eating different pork dishes is a way for me to fulfill my wanderlust from home. And because you already saw the thumbnail, you know which countries were picked. We have Korea, Germany, and USA. And to be a little bit more specific, Hawaii. And I'm super pumped to find out which country is gonna cook the best dish. So let's do it. And we're going to start off today's cook with Korea, and man, take a look at this. That is what I'm talking about. And everything starts off with the star of the show, which are these two beautiful pieces of pork. We're always looking for things that are real in today's world. Authenticity matters, and pork represents just that. America's pork comes from real producers and real farms, and they provide real nourishment for you and your family. By the way, just because I chose these, every recipe I'm making can be used with different cuts. Pork is incredibly versatile and a big part of our lives. Whether you're looking for something to indulge like pork belly or something like lean like pork tenderloin, or you're cooking for only one or a large family, pork provides the answer. However, for me, I chose this 2 inches thick bone-in pork chop. And the first thing I like to do is to season it with the master of all seasoning, and I'm talking about salt. One thing you want to make sure you do is to season it well and make sure you add enough of it. Once that's done, you want to go ahead and add your marinade, which this one is 100% Korean style. And to make it, it's pretty straightforward. Remember, exact amount and ingredients always in the description down below for you. I started with Gochcujang paste, followed by soy sauce, mirin, honey, Korean chili flakes, sesame oil. Let's not forget about garlic and onions, black pepper, and to finish it off, a little bit of strawberry jam. Now all there's left to do is to mix it well on your food processor and your marinade is done. That is as easy as it gets. Now going back to our pork chop, you want to make sure that you coat every single edge of this thing with the marinade. But at the same time, you want to reserve it because we're going to be using this marinade for basting. You can always use a plastic bag for this, but I am just doing it directly on the plate. You want to let it marinate on your refrigerator for at least 2 hours, or better yet, overnight. Once the time was up, I quickly removed it out of the refrigerator and this is what it looks like. As you can see, it seems like the marinade did its job. Now the only thing left to do is to cook it up. And for that, I'm going to be using my cast iron griddle. The one important thing you got to keep in mind is to keep it under medium-low heat, because we want that crust to be developed. So I first started by adding a little bit of canola oil. Since it's a neutral oil, it will not add any weird flavors. Then it was time to throw in our pork chop. Before flipping it, you want to give it at least 1 minute. And once that minute was up, it was time to flip. As you can see, as you do it for the very first time, you're not going to have that color yet. Caramelization needs time to be developed, and since this is a thick cut, you must give it time. Now here's where that marinade comes in handy, because every single time I flip, I also baste it. And if a little bit flares up just like this, do not be alarmed. As the oils burn, it actually produces a very smoky flavor to your pork chop, and I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. Another thing to keep in mind is that as the marinade goes down into the griddle, it starts caramelizing, so make sure you do not let that burn. So my advice is to keep flipping it, and every single time you do, just baste it a little bit more. And as you can probably tell, my heat is not that strong, and that is exactly what you're looking for. Now a little bit of char in the edges like this is perfect, but do not take anything beyond that. The flavor contrast of those little chars should give a wonderful flavor to the pork chop. And don't forget, just keep basting it. One of the most delicious things about this is actually the edges, so make sure that you render that fat as much as you can. And as you can see, this looks absolutely delicious. To know when it's done, it's very easy. You're just looking for an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. Once that's reached, all you have to do is to remove it and let it rest for 3 minutes. And as it's resting, come on, take a look at this. Is there any possibility that this is not going to be amazing? That right there is my take on Korean pork chop. Now the only thing left to do is to slice it up and give it a try. If the smells tells you anything, this is going to be phenomenal. I am serving it with a little bit of rice. Enough talking, and it's time to give it a try. Cheers, everybody. Oh, Lord have mercy. That is crazy good. I can't stop eating it. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's so good. The little fat that is crusted on the edges. Oh my Lord. It's so good. The marinade is a little bit spicy, a little bit savory, and at the same time it has a wonderful flavor that really brings up the Korean style cooking, man. Now give it a try with the rice just because I made the rice, but you do not need the rice. I'm telling you right now. Just make this amazing pork. Lord have mercy. This was incredible. Definitely give it a try. Now for my second one, we're gonna go all the way to Germany. And for that, I'm gonna be using the same exact cut. And I mean, when you take a look at it, it is a beauty. Pork really brings flavor to everyday moments. And if you wanna learn more about pork, please visit www.pork.org/realpork. But now going back to our Germany preparation, I'm gonna be making something that it's called schnitzel. And the first thing I need to do is to split them in half. For that, I just got a real sharp knife and went to town. The next thing to do is to remove the bones. Now, if you think I'm going to be throwing this away, you are absolutely out of your mind. If you love beans, throw this into your beans, and let me tell you something, you produce an incredible flavor. Never let anything go to waste. As you can see, once I was done, I was left with two beautiful boneless pork chops. Now, to make schnitzel, the first thing we gotta do is to pound this out really thin. Right now, as you can see, it is about an inch thick. So if you have a little bit of clinch plastic, just put it right on top, cover it, and start going to town. Now, here's the biggest problem with clinch plastic. As you're pounding it, everything just shrinks. And it's not very user-friendly. But if you're asking if it does work, yes it does. However, it's not one of the best methods to do it. But as you can see, it clearly did its job. It pretty much doubled in size. But here's the best way to do it. If you have a freezer bag available, just throw it inside and start pounding like there's no tomorrow. Now, of course, if you don't have a meat mallet, you can always use this or this. Anything will work as long as you get it nice and flat. As you can see, by the time I was done, this is what they look like. I would say they are now half an inch thick. The next thing to do is to go ahead and start the seasoning. And for that, I only added a little bit of salt and freshly ground black pepper. As always, you want to make sure you season both sides, including the edges. Then I like to let it sit on my refrigerator for at least 1 hour. As that was happening, I started preparing my breading station. I first started with 2 eggs and a little bit of lemon. Mix them well and make sure they are fully combined. Then I started by dipping them first on all-purpose flour, followed by the egg wash we just made, and finished it off with seasoned breadcrumbs. As you can see, by the time I was done, I made sure that every single edge was fully covered with the breadcrumbs. I think that is one of the secrets of a good schnitzel. Now the next thing to do is to shallow fry it. And for that, I'm also using canola oil. And I highly recommend using a cast iron for this. That is because it will keep its heat nice and even. I heated my oil to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I lay down my schnitzel away from me. Now here's where the magic happens. You really don't want to touch it for at least a minute and a half. You want to give it enough time so that the breadcrumbs do not fall off. And as soon as you see the edges starts caramelizing, it's time to flip. That right there is exactly what you're looking for. Once the second side has been fried for at least a minute and a half, then you can flip it once again. Now if you want your schnitzel to be perfectly cooked, you know the temperature that you're looking for. That is 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So the trick is to get the nice golden brown crust without overcooking it. If you have your oil at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, this will take about 4 minutes. And do not be afraid to keep flipping it so that you have even cooking. But once my internal temperature was reached, it was time to pull it out. To finish it off, I added a little bit of lemon followed by a pinch of parsley. Now the only thing left to do is to give it a try. I'll tell you one thing, this has been on my bucket list for quite some time, and I hope one day to visit Germany. All right, let me take a little piece right here. Wow, super crunchy. I hope you can hear that through the mic. Cheers, everybody. Bam! Little squeeze. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Oh, boy. Cheers, everybody. So good. Little bit of lemon there. Crunchy, tender, juicy, absolutely delicious. Oh my God. What is there not to like? Come on, man. And I'm gonna go for the second one. If you think it because I pounded it, it's going to be dry, you are absolutely out of your mind. It is so juicy. The acidity from the lemon balances it out perfectly. It's just like, it's like a perfect bite, man. My German friends, you guys know what's up. This is absolutely delicious. It is time now for the USA. And for that, I am going all the way to Hawaii, everybody. But first, I'm gonna finish this because it's delicious. so amazing. It's so good. Our very last one is gonna be the good old USA. And as you already know, to be more specific, from Hawaii. The first thing I did was to season it with a little bit of salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper and garlic powder. I think for grilling, nothing beat these spices because you can actually taste the meat and nothing else. Now, as I mentioned previously, this is not only gonna be a grilled pork chop. We're gonna be making Hawaiian style, and for that I need to make an incredible salsa to go along with it. So I first started by removing all of the juices and seeds from the tomatoes. Then I chopped them nice and small to make sure every single piece had the same size. I also did the same exact thing for my pineapples and every single other vegetable I'm using. Talking about that, all there's left to do is to put everything together. So into a bowl I threw in my tomatoes, followed by the pineapple, red onions, a tiny bit of garlic paste, a good amount of parsley, chili flakes, the juice of a whole lime, a good pinch of salt and freshly ground black pepper, and finished it off with a good olive oil. Now all there's left to do is to mix it well and your Hawaiian style salsa is done. That right there is as easy as it gets. But now going back to our beautiful pork chops. And for that I'm going to be first putting a beautiful sear on them. Then I'll be cooking them in indirect heat until I reach an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit. So now I say it is enough talking and it is time to cook these beautiful pork chops. So let's do it. All right, everybody, here we have the USA. And I know what you're thinking, USA, USA. But let's taste it to find out how it actually tastes before anything. It is extremely juicy. I hope it came through the camera. I mean, this thing was like a waterfall of juice. As soon as I squeezed it a little bit, it's just like non-stop juiciness. Now that's because I cooked it perfectly, which is 145 degrees Fahrenheit, followed by a 3-minute rest. When you do that, the thing is so juicy, it's like a waterfall of juice. Never overcook pork again. Please, everybody. You know what? I'm gonna try it first without the salsa so that I can give you guys a fair review. Cheers, everybody. That char flavor is ridiculous. It is absolutely phenomenal. The fact that pork is so versatile is absolutely mesmerizing to me. I mean, look at it. The same exact cut, done 3 different ways from 3 different countries. Come on, man. Oh, man. It's so good. Honestly, I don't need the salsa. Just this way right here is perfect. But to make it Hawaiian, right, I have to try with the salsa. Let me see. A little bit sweet, a little bit savory. The contrast of the onions together with the pineapple is amazing. So refreshing. It's like it just cleaned my entire palate and it's perfect. If you live in a country that you want to see a recipe made from your country, comment down below. I would love to make it because these are absolutely amazing. Wow. Anyway, guys, these are the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you're interested in anything I use, everything is always in the description down below. Thanks again, National Pork Board, for sponsoring this video. Make sure you guys check them out. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.